welcome to Rotted Review of the Day, and it is now the last 5 movies of the 2019 Advent Calendar of Christmas horror films. Yesterday I reviewed the movie Elves. Today I review the movie Elves. Yesterday was the 2018 movie, and it turned out to be one of the second worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life, and so far, the absolute worst Christmas horror movie. Today I am reviewing the 1989, not the version. They have absolutely nothing to do with one another. It's not like 2018 was a remake or anything. But regardless, I am watching the 1989 movie of the same title, Elves, and thankfully, it was a lot better. That doesn't mean it was good, but it was a lot better. Now, I would venture to say that this movie has just a little bit of everything. We have a distressed heroine, we have a big killer elf monster on the loose, slashing folks up, we have Dan Grizzly Adams Haggarty running around, and we even have some Nazis thrown in for good measure. Why the fuck not? This really does just have a little bit of everything, and I mean, I could go over a 5-mile overview of the plot, but I think I pretty well just described it. It's just this amalgam of oddball stuff that kind of happens through, incantation and explaining, backstory of Nazi experiments and how it relates to Noah's Ark, all sorts of really interesting, cool stuff. But I mean, it actually manages to flesh it out into a halfway decent deliverable plot. There's a lot of exposition, a lot of tell, don't show, but at the very least, it makes sense. In its own weird, wacky mythos kind of way, it makes sense, and that's a lot more than I can say for the 2018 Elves, which was just absolutely all over the place. This one was a lot more cohesive, coherent, and enjoyable, but I can't help but shake the feeling also that they had intended it to be a bit better than it actually turned out. This was not a good movie, and as much fun as I had watching it, I don't want to give the misconception that it was a good movie, because it's really just not. Ultimately, I think it just winds up in that perfect place, right in the middle of a Venn diagram between entertaining, cheesy, and faulty, to make it one of the most perfect movies ever to riff on. Now, I just checked, and as of right now, December 21st, 2019, Mike Nelson and crew of Riff Tracks and so on and so forth, everybody behind Mystery Science Theater 3000 has yet to riff on this movie, and I think that that's a shame. I think it's a missed opportunity, and I hope that at some point they do it in the future, because nobody can do it like they do, and this movie would make perfect fodder for them. But regardless, aside from that, I'm going to go and throw up all the scores here. As always, 4 different categories, each one worth up to 25 points for a total possible score of 100 points. And as you can see, the plot doesn't get a whole lot of points. There's just not a whole lot of meat on them bones for this one. It was decent enough. It was followable. The characters were enjoyable enough. I mean, as far as having them be as one-dimensional as they were, Dan Haggerty was, I think, the shining star of this movie. He really kept it flowing, kept it cohesive, kept it sympathetic. I really loved his character in this one. The Evil Stepmother was about as evil a stepmother as I've ever seen put to screen. She played it fantastically. But everybody in their own one-note, cheesy way. Which I think affects more than anything else the intention score. 18 out of 25 is definitely not bad. It's on the high end of it. But like I said, I just can't help but get the feeling that they were really trying for a little bit better than it actually turned out to be. I think that as cheesy as I found it, to some degree, I think that they were going for a level of cheese and a level of camp and a level of fun. But I don't think that they were going necessarily for as faulty as I found it. And that's why I say on the Venn diagram between entertaining, cheesy, and faulty, I don't know if that third faulty tier was necessarily the most prominent of the intentions of the filmmakers, but regardless, it definitely shone through. So that did affect the intention score just a little bit there. Otherwise, I would have had no issue giving it well above 20. The acting, everybody did a fairly decent job with what they were given. Nothing really spectacular. Whatever was too cheesy to be believed was kind of offset by some better performances like Dan Haggerty's. So I have no problem giving this kind of just an in-between place of mediocre 12 out of 25. And the technical, I think my big issue with this is one of the things that also makes it great, but I can't see myself giving quality award points for this, is the monster effect of the elf himself. I mean, despite the title of this movie, there's really only one elf in it, and it was pretty darn terrible. Just all told, the movements, the motions, the modeling, everything about it was just really cringeworthy. And like I said, that adds to the cheese, but not necessarily to what I would call the technical prowess of the film. So grand total of 43 out of 100 points. Again, this is not a good movie. If you're looking for a quality, scary Christmas horror film, this is absolutely one to pass up. This is not the one to watch. But if you want to kick on something kind of cheesy, kind of fun, kind of Grizzly Adams, and watch it with friends and just throw popcorn at the screen and have fun riffing on it and watching it and just enjoying the company of your friends, I cannot think of a whole lot of better titles than 1989's Elves. And I really thank you for joining me here today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe. And if you want to support me further, my Patreon and my merchandise storefront links are below. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.